here we are again. I guess this is an annual thing on my channel now, huh? But listen, I've been a close follower of McKamey Manor for like 6 years now, and after I made my 2-hour-long documentary-style YouTube video going over the entire history of Russ McKamey, the manor, and actual video evidence of what truly goes on when you step foot onto Russ's property for a McKamey Manor tour, I kind of got adopted into the anti-McKamey Manor community, and I've been keeping track of everything going on ever since. Of course, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, and this is the first time you've ever heard of McKamey Manor, I do implore you to go watch that deep dive I was just talking about that I made. So pause this video, go watch the deep dive, and then come back here, because it's gonna be necessary. Otherwise, you're gonna look at this video and be like, why are we hating on this old man? You need to understand. So yeah, the link to that video and all the rest of my McKamey Manor stuff is down below. And that's including like another update video that I made last year. It had plenty of juicy updates, like the lawsuits that Russ was involved in. He got arrested for attempted murder, you know, just casual stuff like that. But if you came to this video expecting another dramatic unfolding of events that fit perfectly with the spooky Halloween vibes of the season, I'm sorry, but I cannot give that to you this year. Why? Well, that's because Russ is a pathetic loser. I mean, he's always been a pathetic loser, but this past year, we've seen Russ become a shell of his former self, trying to live out his glory days as a famous figure in the horror community, wearing a shirt with his own face on it. The past year in Russ McKamey's life is giving secondhand embarrassment to the nth degree, and I would like to pass that all along to you. But don't worry, I do have a special inside scoop that nobody else has reported on, and I will get to that soon enough. It's honestly one of the most ridiculous updates I've ever seen coming out of Russ McKamey and McKamey Manor, and you're gonna want to hear all about it. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Hungry Root. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've worked with a lot of brands for sponsorships, okay? Hungry Root is by far my favorite. Every time they reach out to partner again, I just want to scream and jump for joy because I love them. I adore them.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's here, it's here.
Hungry Root is like a meal subscription service, also mixed with grocery delivery. No more stressing over planning meals and shopping for ingredients. Hungry Root will fill your cart with personalized groceries and recipes, and it gets to know you better with every order, so its recommendations get better every time. You can literally choose from 15,000 recipes every week. Yes, 15,000. Now that may sound a little overwhelming, but since Hungry Root learns what you like the more you order with them, they basically just curate a perfect meal plan for you. And of course, you can customize these options manually yourself if you want to. I find I don't have to do that much though, since Hungry Root knows me pretty well by now. All of their recommendations are great. But the groceries that you get delivered from Hungry Root are held to very high standards, and they've eliminated over 200 additives like high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, preservatives, all that kind of stuff. So Hungry Root makes me feel good about the foods that I eat, even the sweets. And I have a pretty wild sweet tooth, y'all, so it's actually really important to me to make good choices surrounding the whole sweet part of my diet. When it comes to the meal plan, every recipe I've ever gotten from Hungry Root is incredibly uncomplicated. Like, anybody can make these recipes. And they're quick. There's not a lot of prep involved, so you don't have to spend hours slaving away in the kitchen. Have I convinced you yet? If not, that's surprising, but maybe this part will. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Click the link below or go to hungryroot.com and use the code Savannah Marie. That's 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life at hungryroot.com with the code Savannah Marie. Thank you so much, Hungry Root, for coming back to me and working with me again. I love Hungry Root. You will love Hungry Root as well. Thank you, Hungry Root, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's talk about Russ McKamey. So where we last left off a year ago, Russ was trying to fight Hulu in court. That lawsuit was partially dismissed, but he was still in a legal battle with Justin, aka The Wolf, which is still ongoing today. He was under investigation by the Tennessee Attorney General, and he basically had to start over from ground zero. Aside from his lawyer, he had no one else in his corner. No one was supporting him. He couldn't work at Walmart anymore because people were harassing the store that he worked at. He was involuntarily alone in the backwoods of Tennessee, with seemingly nothing left to his name besides his trash trailer, his barn, and some dogs. So, when you find yourself at rock bottom like this, the only thing left to do is become an influencer! Hey, woo! Yes, that's right, boys and girls. Russ McKamey thinks he's an influencer now. He literally takes himself out on dates alone, which, no shade, it's cool to spend time with yourself doing things that you enjoy. He reviews restaurants, movies, and karaoke bars. As you may remember, Russ used to be in a band in the Navy, and then he became a wedding singer afterwards, and Russ certainly considers himself to be a performer. He always has been, in one way or another, and it's clear that he has no desire to loosen his grip on the spotlight, despite how dim that spotlight has become. So all of this started at the very end of 2024, when Russ announced that he'd be starting a new little adventure project where he planned to drive all over his part of the country to find the best karaoke bars.
Does anybody out there know of any obscure, interesting spots that they have karaoke? That's right, karaoke. I'm looking for areas that maybe I haven't sang at. And in particular, I'm looking for places that have a stage area that's actually lit up.
He was doing this because he bought a drone and like a 360 camera, and he was going to start making music videos of himself performing at these karaoke places. As we all should know by now, Russ is really hard to listen to. I mean, he's a showman for sure. I personally couldn't imagine hiring him to be my wedding singer, but to each their own. And listen, I could torment all of us by sitting here and forcing us to watch some of these videos and laughing at how awful they are. Pop-Tart, you don't want that, do you? It turns out I don't hate anyone enough to subject them to that. All you need to see are just the few little clips I've included here to understand the cringe-tacular nature of what Russ McKamey is doing. It's basically all the same though. Dizzying clips that are sloppily spliced together, audio straight from the pits of hell. Russ is always doing this thing with his hand, and oh! Russ discovered stock footage, and he overuses it to a tremendous extent. If you want to subject yourself to more of this, you're in luck, because it's all he's posted to the official McKamey Manor YouTube channel in the past year, aside from what he thinks are a couple takedowns of Reckless Ben and Danny Berg, even though they're really just Russ whining like a baby about being exposed by them. But yeah, if you scroll through all these uploads, a lot of the thumbnails feature a beautiful girl, or some kind of professional musician, which is all just from his overuse of stock footage. And it should really say a lot about Russ's intentions with this stuff. He wants to look like an impressive, talented ladies man who has all these beautiful young women just like flocking to him to collaborate on these shitty karaoke videos that he makes. When really, I'm sure all of these actresses would be appalled if they knew what their work was being used for. Anyway, we all know Russ loves attention. You may think he's doing this so that he can read lots of nice comments about how amazingly talented he thinks he is, and that's definitely part of it. I mean, I'll say that this karaoke thing is 100% a vanity thing for Russ, but not just so he can be told over and over and over again how talented he thinks he is. I think there's a few other things going on here. First of all, you may be wondering if McKamey Manor is even still operating. If you ask Russ, he'll tell you that the manor has never been shut down, that it's all fake news, that he still definitely has a 20,000 person long waiting list to get into the manor, and he's still actively doing tours today. However, these comments showed up in my research where someone asks Russ if the manor is still open, and he says, "I'm on a break at the moment, working on music projects." I think he's going so hard at the karaoke stuff because he's trying to make it look like he's just too busy to do the manor. He's got too much going on. He's got too much on his plate. When the reality is, not only can he not find any contestants or participants or whatever to do the manor with, I've also been told personally that allegedly his lawyer advised him not to operate McKamey Manor until all of this stuff is settled. Another reason I think that he's doing this is because he wants to feel important and famous. And this is made clear by the astounding amount of posts that he has made in the past year, taking pictures with people that he claims to be fans. And Russ, can you just close your mouth. Close your mouth, Russ. Russ, close your damn mouth. He's run into so many people at these karaoke bars that he posts to his page. He claims they're all fans of him and the Manor, when I'm telling you right now, in my personal opinion, I don't think 99% of these people know who he is, especially these young women. If they knew who he was, what he's about, and the things that he's been accused of, they would stay far away from him. Instead, he's going into karaoke bars, like literally watering holes where people are drinking too much so that they can get their confidence up to be able to go on stage and then sing karaoke in front of a crowd of people. And I think Russ takes advantage of that. By the way, Russ is partaking in that part now as well too, despite years of him telling us that he doesn't drink. Now apparently he's totally okay with consuming alcohol. Wow, what a bad boy. But anyway, this goes far beyond just a few pictures with quote-unquote fans here and there. Some of these posts are downright creepy, like on January 10th, where all of the posts that he makes revolves around this one poor soul. He obsesses over her, and he even gives us this nasty comment.
Marisa is a Black Hawk pilot with the Army. How awesome is that? Now, we all know I was in the Navy for 23 years, and the pilots did not look as good as Marisa. No.
Again, I guarantee this poor girl has no idea who Russ is and what he's been accused of. He even somehow got this girl to kiss him and then gives a message to Russ's haters.
Oh, I gotta do that. All right.
Me next.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Thank you, Q.
I love him. Love him. Haters gonna hate. Let him hate.
Again, he probably just met her, asked if he could take a picture or a video with her, and then warned her, hey, by the way, I have a lot of haters on the internet, so if I post this, you might get hate. But again, there's just no way that someone like this can know what Russ is all about and still behave this way with him. Then you have videos like this, where you can tell these people are totally haters, but they're just trying to get a picture with Russ regardless. But he asks if these people are haters or fans. The two people on the outside look to the girl in the middle and they're like, what are we? Do we like this guy or do we hate him? I doubt they even know who Russ is either. The girl in the middle is definitely the one who brought them over to him. And I'm sure she knew all about his crazy antics regarding haters, so like of course she's gonna say that they were fans. The other girl who was there, not the one who was in the middle, but like that other girl who looked like she kind of got dragged in, when Russ asked if they were haters or fans, she was like, we're both. Which if you know anything about Russ McKamey, that's a very bold thing to admit to his face, which makes me think that she doesn't know anything about Russ McKamey. I think they had a conversation before approaching Russ, like, dude, this guy's a freak, let's go get a picture with him. But Russ loves this shit regardless.
Some folks came up to us afterwards, they ran up and, hey, are you? It was real adorable. I love when that happens, so.
Here's another example of someone who is definitely a hater. She even admits to watching the Hulu documentary, but Russ is too stupid to realize that she definitely hates him.
Don't watch the Hulu documentary. You didn't watch that, did you?
I don't know. Maybe I did.
Russ has a lot of videos like this one too, where he's bragging about people definitely knowing who he is, but being too afraid to come up and say hi. This one is funny because he took himself to Texas Roadhouse to do his little influencer thing, and he couldn't help but put out a video bragging about being recognized.
I walked in and this table started pointing and smiling and laughing. I guess they know who I am. And they wanted to say something. They were like, oh, and then they chickened out. So it was pretty cute though.
You know why they chickened out, Russ? It's because they don't like you and they don't want to get into it with you, obviously. And let me just put this out there. If I ever saw Russ in public, which first of all, I don't know if he would recognize me at this point because he does kind of rope me in with his group of big haters now at this point. But if he didn't recognize me, I'd ask for a picture with him too. I mean, if I could stomach being that close to him. And then as I'm walking away, I'd probably be like, yeah, fuck you, creep, or something like that, you know? So I totally understand why someone would approach Russ and pretend to be a fan just to get a picture with him. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though. Russ wants you to believe that he never meets people who don't like him.
I always meet the nicest people. It's just, you know, I have all these crazy haters, but they don't say nothing to me, right? It's always nice people. So anyways.
The reality is, he's run into actual haters who aren't afraid to say it to his face, and he crashes out over it every time.
The haters are just a bunch of losers who sit in their basement and type all this nasty stuff, and that's about as brave as they can be, right?
To start with a nice mild one, he starts filming a person who he claims is a hater. The person that person came with clearly doesn't want to be filmed. So they have to get up and move to the other side of a wall so Russ will stop filming and harassing them.
We got a hater over here. Give me a hard time. Nice to see you there. Hater. Come here, hater. I got a hater there. She's like, you got to put that camera away. And she, I've heard about you. And then she keeps flipping me off. Now she left. She's over there, but she's gone now. That's hilarious.
On another night, some guy at a karaoke bar was on stage and called Russ out, so Russ confronts the poor guy with a camera to his face, and then he spliced all the clips together, somehow found him on Facebook, doxed him, and uploaded it so his fans could go harass this guy.
The guy that's on stage singing right now, he's a big Manor hater. He goes, this is for McKamey Manor. I say, yeah. And he goes, you're freaking shit. All this on stage. So I'm going to try to catch him on video here. This is big fat clown. Who's videoing me right now? So that's the guy that came in glue, started talking all kinds of crap. So let's see if I can make it fun tonight. Hey, what's up, tough guy? How you doing?
Look, man.
You got something you want to say to me?
I don't support you.
What's that?
I don't support you in the
Okay,
things you say.
well, why don't you say what you say up there?
Because I hate you.
What?
Hey,
Yeah, you gotta go dance, right? Bye-bye.
This is something that Russ has been known to do over and over again. If he can find out who you are, he will send his cult followers after you to harass you. Thankfully, he doesn't have very many cult followers left these days, but still, it's scary enough for just your average person trying to exist in today's world that is surrounded by social media. Like, it's too much for the average person to handle. It's sad because you can tell that this dude knows he's in for some bullshit the moment he steps off stage. And yeah, you could say that he started it, but Russ always takes things way too far. And it's to the point where he doesn't care if his haters are getting harassed by his cult following. I think he prefers that, actually. But I do give this guy kudos for telling Russ to his face that he hates him. The dude was obviously inebriated, but still, Russ needs to hear this kind of stuff in public much more than he does. My favorite hater encounter is this one though, where Russ is creepily filming random girls that he doesn't know, and when the girl realizes who he is, she goes off, and I love her for it.
Wait, you're that freak! You're that loser!
Oh my! Wow, nice!
I wish we knew who this goddess was so that someone can give her a trophy. Russ's run-ins with haters obviously extends outside of his little personal bubble. They're all over the internet, of course. Hi, hello, here we are. But some online haters are more detrimental to Russ than others. And maybe he can let some little comments go here and there. But when they lead to him getting banned from his favorite little karaoke spots, that's when Russ gets mad. In April 2025, a post appeared in a Facebook group that discusses like local happenings in the northern Alabama area, and he frequently travels there to hit up some of these karaoke bars. The post says, Russ McKamey, former owner of McKamey Manor, has been spotted around Huntsville, Florence, and surrounding North Alabama locations. If you don't know what McKamey Manor is, details will be in video link in comments. He seems to be frequenting karaoke bars. He's going in, filming with a cameraman. That in and of itself isn't a big deal. It's the fact that he repeatedly touches and grabs the women he focuses his attention on. When he gets their attention, he asks if the girl knows who he is. When they realize who he is, he asks if they're scared of him. The video he posted of himself last night at Lips Karaoke showed a girl answering that she was scared knowing who he was. I understand that he was at Moody Mondays as well. He's frequenting these two establishments for sure. This may seem like petty little complaints, but if you don't know who this monster is, I'll link a YouTube playlist that will give you everything you need to know. Take the time to watch all the videos to educate yourself on this man, because he's in our local social circles right now. Be smart, don't fall into any misunderstanding about how dangerous this man is. Stay safe, ladies. Don't feed the alligators. He wants your shocked reaction. He wants you to be scared of him. This is not a game or a joke. One of the comments on this post says Lips, the karaoke bar mentioned in this post, has been made aware of the situation, and another bar, Moody Mondays, was also tagged in the comments to make them aware of Russ. It's unclear if he also got banned from there as well, or if other local karaoke bars followed suit. Naturally, Russ found out about this post and responded. First, he commented underneath the original post and just said, "Since cowards like talking garbage, let's show some reality," followed by a link that leads to a shitty music video of him showing off how many fans he thinks he has. But that wasn't enough for Russ. He went and made his own post in this Facebook group that said, "Hello there seems to be a bunch of really intelligent people talking a lot of trash about me, so I thought I would post an actual video of the evening in question. It's pretty sad the garbage that people say, but I guess it's not much you can do about that." And of course, he had to leave some comments as well. In one, he said, "I love these LIC comments." For those who don't know, LIC means low information crowd, and that's what he calls his haters quite often. I want to make perfectly clear, I have nothing to apologize for whatsoever. I'm very proud of McKamey Manor, and I'm very proud of going out and talking to people and meeting folks and performing and everything else that I do. And if someone has a problem with that, then that's their problem. No shit, Russ. So keep doing what you're doing. I absolutely love it. You're absolutely welcome to believe all of the internet garbage that you like. That's what a true LIC is all about. Make sure you stop over and say hello to me when you see me. He followed this comment up with another comment that said, "Oh, and by the way, how about at least having a little bit of integrity and don't post under anonymous? What a joke that is." Well, Russ, when you're infamous for running your haters off the internet, it's no surprise that people want to remain anonymous. The original anonymous poster did respond to Russ's post saying, "You can try to manufacture a new public image, but you still claim to run the manor, have no accountability for your documented hand in abusing people in and out of the manor, and you get off on people knowing who you are. If you were just a guy having a good time, that'd be one thing, but you go out of your way to link yourself to your own shitty, not so distant past. We're not buying the candy ass excuses you're selling. Those of us who follow the story stand with your victims. Stop trying to intimidate and gloat as a form of social interaction, and keep your damn hands to yourself. The manor is nothing to be proud of, and a healed person wouldn't continuously associate themselves with it. I hope you heal. I hope you see the error in your judgment. But that doesn't mean people will stay silent. You've got a little following of people who just don't know any better, and you take advantage of those people's hearts by conning them into thinking you're just a harmless little fly. Sorry, dude, but people here will call a spade, and we're calling spades. We've heard the audios, we've seen the footage from the hard drive, the gig is up. Consider yourself Mr. Cellophane as far as these people go." Another funny exchange happened when this person called out Russ by saying, "You do realize that some of the people in this video have already come out against you. They had no idea of your problems with women, the law, and what kind of gross monster you really are until they saw the proof all over the internet. Your little poor quality video only shows you catching people off guard who barely know who you are from your fake haunt. You have a hard time reading cues. There was a lot of uncomfortable people in the crowd you were touching." Which, damn, Janet, you're so right. Catching people off guard is a perfect way to put it. Most of these people are all inebriated too, to make it all worse. But Russ responded to Janet and he said, "Really, exactly who was I touching? Absolutely nobody. I am not going to apologize for being a friendly, people person type of person. I'm very bubbly and outgoing, and that's how I've always been. So if somebody has a problem with me, then they should report it. But of course they're not going to because I haven't done anything wrong." Then another person responded to Russ with a screenshot from his own video touching someone. Russ, of course, did not respond to this. So I think it's safe to say that Russ is desperately trying to manufacture a false image of himself here. I mean, he's always done that, but the mask slips more and more with every second that passes. People just aren't falling for it anymore, and it's making him panic. And getting banned from karaoke bars is one way to really hit him where it hurts, and we love to see it. You may be seeing this title card and being like, "No, absolutely not. We don't want to hear about Russ's dating life."
Where's all the single women at?
Well, actually, you do want to hear about Russ's dating life. Sorry. If you've been following the world of McKamey Manor, you know that Russ has an extensive history of being abusive to his significant others, both physically and emotionally. And he's also been known to have thoughts about people of a very young variety, and he gets off by telling his girlfriends about said thoughts. And he's also a person that 99% of people who meet him, or even see him for that matter, wouldn't date him even if you're being paid $1 bazillion to do so. Most of us can't even stomach the idea of being in the same room as him. Someone shared his Facebook dating profile where the very first thing that he put in his bio is talking about younger girls. He wrote, "First off, if you happen to be younger than me, I won't hold it against you. As long as you're able to keep up with me, you'll do just fine, lol. I can guarantee you that I'm not like any so-called older guy that you've ever known. I'm just keeping it real here. If you're someone who doesn't appreciate a high energy and entertaining man, you'll probably want to pass on by. If you've got a positive attitude, I can promise you, you'll never be bored with this guy. Who's up for an adventure?" So it's extremely satisfying to see Russ struggle to find his next victim. And boy, oh boy, I tell you what, he is struggling and he is desperate.
Let's talk about dating a little bit, right? Or meeting people. As you know, I'm always whining about this is nobody to me, and it's kind of true. It's not. Everybody knows that I'm a rather flirty guy out in public or whenever. I like talking with people. I like meeting people. I like going to these different clubs and talking to folks out there. So don't take offense if I flirt with you. That's part of Russ. Russ loves the ladies, and I'm sure that will go viral. Someone will take that, but in a very respectful way. But, you know, I'm not going to lie, and life is short, right? I can't just wait for someone to bang on my door. That's not going to happen. So I have to get out there and make the first step at times. Hopefully, I will find somebody special to enjoy all kinds of adventures with, and traveling with, and just all the stuff that little old me is, which is, you know, spontaneity and sensitivity and love and all that good stuff. I'm just like everybody else, but it's hard to find people out there. And I'm not going to be that guy that bugs people either. So if I contact somebody and they're not interested, I just leave them alone. I figure if they're interested in little old me and this goofiness right here, then they will let me know in their own little way, right? So
he filmed this video like a week or two before the whole karaoke bar Banapalooza happened. He got called out for his behavior, and then he didn't delete this video of him begging somebody to love him. Yeah, this makes you look really good, Russ. Only a couple days later though, he put out this video, which is like some kind of apology-esque type of video where he says that he publicly accused someone of catfishing him, and then his fans came and swarmed this poor girl, and she ended up being a real person, allegedly. I think he deleted the original post, so I couldn't find out what was actually said or who this person was, but here's how he responded to the situation.
I have to man up about something, and that's what I try to do when I'm wrong. And I was wrong about that message I wrote about that person who I thought might have been catfishing me. That wasn't the case, and unfortunately, and it's no excuse, but unfortunately for me, I've been burned and catfished. I was wrong this time. Being real trusting for me has backfired quite a few times, and I just had a feeling that that's what was happening, but it wasn't. So I feel very horrible that I made that post because everybody jumped on that individual, and you know, she doesn't want anything to do with me now, and I understand it. I tried to apologize 1,000 times. I wish she would accept my apology. I jumped the gun, and I'm really sorry. So I just want to man up and say I made a mistake, and for that individual, please forgive me. Sometimes I make dumb mistakes because I'm overly sensitive and because I have gotten burned so many times with believing in people that I guess I thought this was one of those times, and it wasn't. but it's because of me, nobody else, that the comments went the way they did. It's totally 1000% my fault, nobody else's.
She doesn't want anything to do with me now. Gee, I wonder why, Russ. He's clearly impulsive as hell to his own detriment. Seems like he had a victim on the line and he let her go. Honestly, thank goodness this person got away. Now, one thing that you have to remember about Russ is that his standards are unbelievably and unjustifiably high. Listen to what he says about being shut down by someone that he was interested in.
I got shot down. I asked someone to go out on a date, got shot down. I love it.
We all know that you don't love it, Russ, but anyway, as I'm sure we all know by now, Russ always dates way below his age range. In this video, he tries to justify that and tell us why that's necessary.
I'm telling you, if you go out with me, you're gonna have a good freaking time. I am a fun date. See, I've got to find somebody who can keep up with me. You're not gonna find a woman who's my age who is able to have the energy and the spontaneity and the craziness of all the things I like to do. It's just not going to happen. If they're out there, somebody show me, because I haven't seen one yet. So the only ones who kind of get it, well, the ones that do get it, are the ones in their 20s and 30s, and I mean they get it. They understand. They don't believe all the garbage, and they have more energy. But 20, 30, 40s, 50s, 60s, it's all great. I just want to find somebody who is active and fit, in good shape, mentally and physically. Someone who likes, a good sense of humor and spontaneous. You gotta live life, man. You gotta live freaking life. Grab the bull by the horns and run with it. And that's how I live my life.
What Russ doesn't understand is that someone in their 20s or 30s dating him, who's in his 60s, late 60s, is that it's a waste of their time. It's a waste of their youth dating someone like him. And no, you can't keep up with a 20-year-old Russ. You drag them down. I think it's all just an excuse. I think even if Russ were to meet the world's most active 65-year-old woman, he wouldn't give her a chance because Russ likes his girlfriends extremely young. He's just trying to justify his taste in a dating pool that he somehow manages to frequently pull dates out of. But these days, I think young women know better.
I mean, I am 66, but I am 20 inside, and I'm 20 with my whole being. You know what I mean? I am not some old guy. So if anybody knows of a gorgeous, beautiful, fun-loving woman that would be good for me, hey, be my wingman and let me know.
Listen, I understand feeling younger than you are, but Russ saying that he is the same activity and fitness level as a biological 20-year-old human being is delusional. We also have Russ here making some nasty comments about Sydney Sweeney looking young and cute. Blech.
First, I went and saw the new Sydney Sweeney movie. We all love Sydney Sweeney, right? Absolutely. She's like my favorite. It wasn't the sexy Sweeney that we like. Sydney and we like. It was different. She was total makeup free. She's still accused of butt makeup free. She looks super young without makeup on. She looks like about 18.
Men like Russ love Sydney Sweeney, so it's not surprising that he finds her attractive. He just didn't have to be so weird and creepy about it. At one point, Russ got so desperate that he considered throwing down $500 for a year subscription to the eHarmony dating website, which, people still use eHarmony? I didn't even know it was still a thing. He made a post that said, "What do you think? Should I give this another shot? It's not free, costs $500 approximately, and I did try them a few years ago, but nothing came from it. But I'm no quitter, folks. Besides, who else is gonna serenade you at dinner when you least expect it? Okay, first of all, Russ, if women desired your serenading, you would be a ladies' man. Unfortunately for you, bud, your singing is ass and you're cringe as hell. He also has a history of forcing his girlfriends to pick food out of his teeth with their nails in public. So no, Russ, I don't know where you're getting this whole like, I'm such a fun person to be around. Like, this is not a positive characteristic of yours. Your version of spontaneity is weird and gross. He also left a comment on this thread that said, I'm a bit of a different breed, and a lot of ladies unfortunately believe all of the wild and crazy garbage, but it will happen. Finding a fun, no crazy woman, LOL. Just say you think women are stupid, Russ. You think we're too unintelligent to come to our own conclusions based on any evidence we've seen. We need a big, strong, 66-year-old man to make all of our decisions for us because we're just too stupid to do it ourselves. Us idiot women just don't understand reality. Help, Russ, please. Like, shut up. And he seems to think that his infamy is a flex because he posted a comment somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where this was posted, but it says, I don't mean to toot my own whore. Toot my own whore. But you have no idea just how famous I really am. I've got movies as a film creator that will live forever, long after I'm gone. Whenever I walk anywhere, I get a ton of attention, and it's positive attention. The haters are hiding in their basement, doing what they do, but the real people are out there, and there are a lot of fans. So am I famous? Yes, I am. Have I created something that nobody else has ever done? Yes, I have. Long from Deanne gone, 40 years from now, will you still be talking about McKamey Manor and me? Absolutely. All you have to do is walk anywhere with me and find out exactly what happens, lol. The man is simply delusional. And all of this was going on in between multiple posts like this, claiming that he's been catfished multiple times. I'm bummed, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised anymore. I was catfished last evening. Again, lol. They seemed super nice, and I believed everything. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm a fool, I suppose, but I refuse to lock myself away, so I'll keep believing in people. I thought things were going well, then all of a sudden, total darkness. I did write a couple times just to say my piece, but I'm not gonna beg anybody. So clearly, either they were trying to gather something from me, or they're believing in all the ugliness out there. But shame on them if they're buying into all that garbage, and I don't need a person like that anyway. Times were looking pretty bleak for Russ. That was, until... Yes, guys, unfortunately, we do have a new victim, and the circumstances of their relationship are not entirely clear. There's a lot of speculation going on among anti-McKamey Manor groups, so we'll get into all of that, but man, what an interesting ride. And before we dive into all of this, please, I'm begging you, do not try to contact or find this girl, regardless of whatever intention you have. I tried to reach out to her for comment, I didn't get any response. I think she wants to be left alone. She probably wants to be left out of this entire situation at this point, and she has stated that she doesn't like social media, and she doesn't like the attention that her being involved with Russ has gotten her. It sucks that I have to feature her like this, but knowing Russ's past with women, I feel like it's extremely important to document everything we know, because this could be what prevents another woman from falling victim to him. So on September 2nd, 2025, Russ starts shirtlessly hinting at a new adventure with a mystery guest that he was very excited about. And this adventure required hopping on a plane to Florida for Universal Studios' annual Halloween event. He had actually been there a week prior to this visit as well. Universal Studios in Orlando is kind of Russ's current obsession. He goes a lot. So before he was about to board his flight, he announced that he'd be joined by a dancer who he was filming when he was at the theme park the previous week. There's actually 2 videos of women he filmed, both young and beautiful, of course, just like Russ likes them. So I don't know which dancer he thought he'd be meeting, but supposedly it was going to be one of these women.
Round 2 of the great adventure with Russ and a special guest star. Somebody that you may have seen at Halloween Horror Nights. I'll just give you a hint. Do you remember the dancers that I filmed quite a bit? Well, you might be seeing one of them. You never know, I'm kind of a rascal.
But when he gets off the plane later that day, he announces that he had been catfished yet again.
I guess I got scammed today. It happens. So my special guest stood me up.
I'm here and I'm looking all over for her. She's gone dark. Call it what you want, but I think I maybe got catfished. Who knows? I am going to make the best of it anyways. And who knows? Maybe I'll meet somebody to hang out with. You know, I'm a pretty friendly guy. I get along with people. I'm a people person. I'm not giving up.
The thing is, I don't think this is catfishing. You're being trolled, Russ. Someone noticed that you were obsessively filming these dancers when you went to Universal Studios, so they pretended to be one of them, hit you up, convinced you to fly your ass back to Florida to have some romantic rendezvous with them, and then she didn't show up because you were tricked by a troll. This dude is so desperate that he didn't even do the most basic level of research to figure out if she was the real deal or not, but he's also so full of himself that he thought that someone like one of these women was just so smitten with him while he had a camera in their face while they were doing their job that they just had to find him on Facebook and hit him up and ask him out. Again, completely delusional. The next morning, Russ says that he, quote unquote, didn't do much last night because he was too tired from traveling, but he also claims he met someone without going into pretty much any detail at all.
Having a great time so far. Didn't do much last night. I was just too tired. It's going to be an epic day. Lots of nice people out here. I met somebody actually who's very sweet, and it all worked out super nice. So all you folks that were worried about me, don't worry. I met a really charming individual, and it's quite lovely.
This is odd because he is always posting his encounters with new people on his Facebook, time after time. Like, there are hundreds of people. Every time he meets them and takes pictures with them, he's posting about them on his Facebook. But this time, he wouldn't even tell us who she was, what her name is, how he met her. And he just so happened to meet her on his first night there, where he was saying, I was so tired and I didn't really do anything last night. Something's not adding up, but we will get to speculations a little bit later. Throughout the day, he posts content teasing her face, filming himself while we can hear her voice in the background, or, you know, filming the back of her head.
And I did meet this wonderful person here, but I don't know if I should show her because I know that people attack people.
Maybe on the next.
Huh?
Maybe on the next.
Maybe the next one. She's very sweet. And see, when one door closes, one opens up, right? So.
He returned home on September 4th, where he made this post, which I believe has now been deleted from Russ's profile. He did end up re-uploading all these pictures a few days later, but the original post read, "Ladies and gentlemen," just one gentleman, I guess, "my sweet adventure friend, Ashley." The first picture shows the true Ashley. As a big extra bonus, this special lass has some truly beautiful muscles, and by this point, it's no secret that Russ absolutely loves female muscle. When he re-uploaded those pictures a few days later, he left the muscle one out, so I wonder if she got mad at him for posting that picture and that's why he deleted it. I have absolutely no idea why, but hey, the couple had such a good time that they decided to go to Universal Studios yet again the following weekend.
I'm out for another adventure this weekend. Where am I going? Who is going with me?
That made 3 weekends in a row of old Rusty hopping on a plane, going from Tennessee to Florida. Side note, he's spending a lot of money to do this. My opinion is, I think he got a sweet little chunk of money from when he tried to sue Hulu, and they ended up settling outside of court. So whatever money he got out of them, I think he's blowing on traveling. That, of course, is speculation, but we do know that up until this point, before the Hulu documentary, Russ was broke. He wasn't making money from the manor. He was living off of Social Security and then, you know, whatever benefits he was getting from his time in the Navy, and then some pocket change from working at Walmart. But anyway, moving on to the following weekend, Russ and Ashley had a lovely little rendezvous together. He forced her on stage with him when he did some terrible karaoke at an admittedly really cool looking karaoke bar, but she was not into this at all. You can tell that she was extremely uncomfortable. Also, the drone shots, oh my god, it is so hard to watch. It's pretty weird though, because after he shared all of their pictures together in that weird drone footage karaoke video, Russ starts going off again about how he doesn't want to show her face on social media because he doesn't want the haters to come after her. And in classic Russ fashion, he's being an absolute douchebag to her.
We get so many looks. Isn't it cute though? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? They're jealous, aren't they?
I also look a lot younger.
Huh?
I look a lot younger.
Not really.
I don't think so. You look 31.
So rude.
She's 31. What, should I say you look younger?
No, I think I do.
You don't? No, you don't. Before I knew you, I said about 38.
Shut.
But then she told me 31. I said, you sure? So then she said, I said, send me your ID. And yeah, sure enough, she's 31. Dang, I'm kind of old for 31. And
All of this coming from Russ is so uncalled for. Not that I would ever find myself getting into any relationship of any kind with Russ at all, but if this were me and we had had a perfectly fun and wonderful time up until this point, and then he said that shit to me, I'd be like, I'm out. Bye. I'd have to be like, excuse me, what the fuck did you just say to me? That would not fly with me at all. It's unbelievably rude, and I have no idea where he gets the audacity. And what appears to be in an effort to impress Ashley, he slowly walks past the line of people waiting for someone to recognize him. The video I'm about to play for you is the most secondhand embarrassment I've ever felt for another human being. He's so desperate to get recognized that he might as well be walking with a giant sign that says, hey, free pictures with me, Russ McKamey, the famous guy.
You know who I am? You know? You guys are all horror people. You should know who I am. Some of you guys probably would. Have you ever heard that crazy haunted house called McKamey Manor? The one that you get $20,000 and you get through it. No one's ever been through it. It's on Hulu and Netflix, all that good stuff. You know who I am? You know? She doesn't want to say.
There's also this video where he's supposedly talking to fans, one of which Russ is randomly hugging and she looks extremely uncomfortable, but he's literally explaining McKamey Manor to them.
If you last 10 hours.
10 hours?
If they're your fans, they should know all about how the manor works. If I had to guess, this video was probably filmed after walking around and being like, hey guys, I'm famous, come talk to me. I guess all of this impressive work from someone as famous as Russ worked on Ashley because she gave him a kiss on camera.
first time she's ever kissed me.
That was a lie.
That's the first time she has ever kissed me.
Of course, he has his moments of spoiling her and being an upstanding, doting date.
She is so cute. She's really enjoying herself. What I like about her is she's very appreciative. She always says thank you. It just makes me like doing things for her. It's very, very sweet. She's got such a cute smile on it. So beautiful. Such so cute. Hi, baby.
Hi.
Hi, baby. Hi.
He also brags that they'll be having a movie night back at his house, ending with telling us how much he really likes her.
So this pretty little thing has never seen Alfred Hitchcock Psycho. So she's gonna come to my house and we're gonna have a movie night. We're gonna watch like Psycho and other things that she's just never seen before. I really like this girl.
By the end of the trip, Russ was obviously smitten with her.
Had a fantastic last couple days with a very terrific woman. Just couldn't be any better. Wonderful. It was just a picture perfect time. Ashley was just such a doll to be with. She's so fun, very funny, very charming, very sweet, and very shy. She doesn't like the public spotlight. Just a really good gal, and I really appreciate the time that we had. It was fun, very special.
Commenters on this video ask Russ if this was just some kind of summer fling or if it'll turn into something more committed. Russ basically says that he would love to see her again. Someone let her know. Russ? You had the whole weekend with her. You couldn't have just told her this yourself? Also, holy shit, his fans are so nosy. Where do these people get off? The social media love bombing took an obsessive turn when Russ posted this picture of her with a caption that said, "Ashley did not give me permission, nor does she know anything about me doing this. I hope she forgives me, sharing this little behind-the-scene moment." Some will see a messy hotel room during our second rendezvous at Universal Studios. I, on the other hand, see something totally different with this special impromptu moment. While I agree the room is cluttered with the business of a vacation adventure, but I see a beautiful woman lost in her inner thoughts, unaware of the mesmerized eyes that were gazing upon her from the shadows of that thrown-about room. I see a sweet, genuine, and shy woman who's totally oblivious to the fact of just how special she truly is. Her shy, quiet smile expresses sincerity and warmth at every turn, just as a morning rainbow breaking through the warm summer mist. Messy room? Sure, but I see a truly magical moment in time. Life is short, and I live with my heart on my sleeve every single moment of my existence. I can't fake my emotions, and for better or worse, this is who I am. I've been fooled more times than you can imagine, but I'll never give up. I refuse to let the unfortunate ugliness of bottom feeders dictate how I live my life. I'm an open and honest book, and I don't know how to be any way else. As I've said a million times before, I'm truly the luckiest man alive. Just look at all the wonderful opportunities that I'm continued to be blessed with, and more importantly, the fantastic and beautiful people that continue to bless me life. Life is great, and I'm not going to take 1 second of this glorious world for granted. I'm so excited for all my future adventures and all the wonderful memories that are coming my way. Go out and live your best life. If I can do it with all the craziness and insane challenges of my life, you can do it as well. Stay true to yourself and be kind, and you can do anything in this universe. Don't give up, and never let the ugliness of LICs, wackos, bottom feeders, and whatever else you want to describe them as cause you harm, anguish, or discontent. We all know these fools, unfortunately, but you don't have to give those idiots any mind at all. You're all better than those people. Move on and move up. You've all got this. One comment asks if she's his girlfriend, and he just says, a friend. They ask if they're dating, and he says, not necessarily. And look, I understand that people like to be casual and stuff. There are plenty of people who like to go with the flow romantically and not want anything serious. But Russ is not that guy. And even if he was, no one would make a post about someone that they're not in a committed relationship with. It's weird, and it's smothering. He made another post with the caption that says, as Bob Hope would say, thanks for the memories. And Ashley actually did comment on this post. She said, no, thank you. I will remember this trip for the rest of my life. What a wonderful time indeed. Russ, you're a terrific person and a lot of fun. Patient, funny, quite the gentleman too. We rode so many rides, had so much fun, went swimming, you chased me around and dunked me in the water. That was so funny. And horror nights, wow. I've always wanted to go, and you fulfilled that for me, and there was no better company to be with than you. I cannot thank you enough. You're far too kind. Thank you for the spectacular dinners. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for accepting me and my bizarre past. Thank you for everything. I can't wait to visit you in Tennessee. You know I hate social media, and I don't like all this attention, but I do like you. I can't wait to see you again. There was a little bit more back and forth conversation going on, but it's kind of just different variations of Ashley's comment. But okay, now this part is pretty weird. So the next screenshot was posted in both McKamey Manor Exposed and also McKamey Manor Road Trip, and they both show the same weird shoulder edit. The light mode photo cuts off the tip of her nose, so I can't verify this for sure, but in the dark mode picture, you can see that the tip of her nose was photoshopped, and photoshopped badly, and obviously. I think, considering that both screenshots have the same shaky arm editing, it's safe to assume that they both have the nose edit as well. Here's the original photo, although I will admit that her arm looks too sharp in this version too. I think this one was also edited, but at least her nose looks normal in this one. So, who edited this picture? Russ, was it you? Did you purposely try to make her nose and her arm appear smaller than they are? Why would you do that? No woman wants her love interest to Photoshop pictures of them to make them appear smaller than they are. And she's a millennial woman. She probably knows how to use Facetune and edit her own pictures herself. And she probably does a much better job at it than Russ does. I don't even know if you can call it Photoshop. Is it just MS Paint? Like, what did you use to do this? It's so bad. And if Russ did this without her knowing, yikes. Anyway, the post in question does suggest that Ashley wanted to take a McKamey Manor tour. Russ wrote, if you're serious about a tour, silly woman, you need to watch And Then There Were None and truly understand what will happen to you as well. I know you think you want this, but say it with me, you really don't want to do this. You're too adorable for all that nonsense, lol. I take good pictures, by the way, but that easy with you. If you're serious, you need to be able to answer one question after watching the movie. If you fail, attention to detail, game over. You'll be disqualified. I'm trying to help you here. You're too sweet and nice for a McKamey Manor tour. Stick with the local 4-hour haunt in your area, lol. You'll end up getting mad, and I don't want that. Watch the movie completely, so you have an honest reality check just how things will turn out for you, my dear. It's no joke. Don't be stubborn, lol. Russ, we all know that you're desperate for her to come to your house so that you can have your way with her. Well, it seems like Russ did begin to try to have his way with her in public in an aggressive enough way that caused a bystander to call the police and file a police report. And we have a copy of said report. On September 4th, 2025, at freaking 6:30 in the morning at Orlando International Airport, someone witnessed Russ allegedly choking Ashley. Where have we heard this before? Oh, you mean like with literally every single one of his girlfriends? Guys, Russ will never change. I'm telling you this right now. If he's doing this to a woman in public at a freaking airport, that is the red flag of the century. And what it says to me is that Russ has actually gotten worse since his arrest last year, where he was accused of attempting to murder his ex-girlfriend Shay via strangulation. Go figure. See, it's like a pattern of behavior with this guy. So yeah, this is all extremely concerning in more ways than one. The police report says that the person who called the police did not wish to be involved and did admit that she was enough of a distance away that she couldn't really tell what was going on, but knowing Russ's history with this stuff, we all know what she saw. This isn't just some coincidence. Police separated Russ and Ashley and questioned them separately. Regarding Russ's police interview, the officer writes, Mr. McKamey appeared agitated when questioned about the incident, but eventually stated that nothing had occurred. He claimed to be the owner of a horror film house and suggested that people might be jealous of his fame. Of course he did. Of course he said that. Anyway, Ashley claims that she met Russ on the internet and have been communicating with each other online when they decided to meet up in Orlando. Ashley then told the officers that she had not been battered, and she confirmed that she was in good health. She also told the officers that she wasn't afraid of Russ, and officers didn't see any injuries or torn clothes or anything like that on Ashley. As far as I can tell, nothing ever came from this incident aside from the police report being filed. Ashley didn't press charges against Russ or anything. Anyway, so here I'm going to remind you once again, please do not try to contact this woman. Just leave her alone, because this next part is all public record, and I have seen for myself that she is trying to move forward from a lot of stuff in her past that's pretty messed up. So please be kind and respectful, because we don't know what she is currently doing and currently struggling with. But naturally, people started to dig into who Ashley is, and unfortunately for her, a lot of less than positive stuff became unearthed. Mainly that she has an extensive criminal record, including past charges of domestic violence of a high and aggressive nature, possession of a firearm during a violent crime, cocaine trafficking, shoplifting, meth possession with intent to distribute, and she actually was a missing person once back in 2023. All these arrests happened in 2023 and 2024, so they're pretty recent, which also leads to the question, why would Russ date someone with such a problematic and recent criminal past? Well, we all know it's because he's desperate. But I bring this part up because for years, Russ has been very loudly, vocally, anti-drugs, anti-drinking, anti-smoking. He claims to be a goody two-shoes when it comes to that kind of stuff. And he has aggressively condemned such behaviors many, many times publicly in the past. That all being said, an internet sleuth did unearth this screenshot from a Facebook group called Narcotics Anonymous Just for Today /recovery, where Ashley is tagged in a welcome post. Ashley responds to the post holding a Narcotics Anonymous keychain and says, "Thank you so much." This post is from 2024, so a lot can happen in a year, but this post is at least proof that she's made steps to recover from her drug abuse. She has been seeking help for this part of her life, so this is why I'm begging people to try not to contact her, because I feel like that might hinder any progress that she's made for herself. We all have stuff in our past that we're not proud of, but at least with Ashley, we can see some evidence of her trying to better herself and responsibly get herself out of the mess she made for herself. That all being said, I'm gonna tell you what my personal opinions and speculations speculation is about all of this. Heavy on the speculation. I could be entirely wrong about all of this, but this is the theory that makes the most sense to me. I personally believe, in my opinion, that it is very, very possible and probable that Ashley was an escort. No hate towards escorts or sex workers in general. This is just my opinion. I'm not trying to throw shade, although I have seen other people speculate the same opinion as well. But here's why I think this is the case. Remember, Russ went to Orlando thinking he was going to be meeting up with some beautiful dancer and he was going to have this long romantic rendezvous of a weekend with her, but he basically blue-balled himself once he found out that she wasn't actually a real person. So the next morning when Russ is like, I didn't do much last night, I was too tired, but also I randomly met this conveniently young and attractive woman, even though I didn't go out and do anything because I was too tired. And then the police report says that Ashley told the cops that they met online. I'm thinking he contacted an escort service. And I have been told personally that Russ has used these services in the past, allegedly. So that part adds up. And of course, Ashley wouldn't admit any of this to the cops when they were filing the police report because it is illegal in the state of Florida to exchange money for sex. And obviously I know that oftentimes escort services have nothing to do with sex. I totally get that. We don't have confirmation that that's what they were doing together, but when it comes to Russ McKamey, things probably went there, right? Again, speculation, I can only assume. They were staying in the same hotel room, like, come on. Plus, with how uncomfortable she was being forced on stage to sing karaoke with him, you know she didn't want to be up there with him. It's written all over her face. But if she's there with him for an escort service, he's basically paying her to be his companion, and she may have felt obligated to follow him up on stage. Another thing pointing to this being the case is this comment that Russ left in response to Ashley on Facebook. Remember those long comments that they wrote to each other that I read to you earlier? Well, Russ responded to Ashley's comment and he said, "Sorry I opened you up to all the crazy social media life of mine. You're a good sport with all this, and I'll try to listen to your solid advice. Thanks for the sweet words. Your check is in the mail. You are such a genuine and appreciative person, always saying thank you, and that is totally rare to hear that. Let me tell you all for sure about that. Such marvelous manners and a smile that lights up the darkest of rooms. Amazing. Emphasis on your check is in the mail, which I admit maybe that was some kind of joke. But if it were a joke, I feel like Russ would have used a laughing emoji instead of just the basic smiling one, or like he would have said LOL at the end of it like he always does. And I also admit that mailing a check is a pretty outdated way to send somebody money in today's era of Zelle and PayPal and Cash App and Venmo and all that. But then again, Russ is a boomer, so maybe he likes to send his money the old-fashioned way. Or maybe this is just a joke entirely, but I do find it to be an odd thing to say. And I wouldn't put it past Russ to be like, well, I can't find a young girl who's willing to give me a chance, so I guess I'll just pay a young girl to give me a chance. And then I'll just manipulate her into loving me like I always do, and then we'll have a real relationship. Again, that's just speculation on my end. But I wouldn't put it past him, right? But it doesn't appear as though this worked on Ashley. I honestly think this was just another job for her that she accepted twice because Russ paid for them to have VIP access to a cool theme park attraction. Like, she would have literally been getting paid to go on an all expenses paid vacation to a major theme park. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal to me. And with Ashley seemingly trying to get back on her feet and move forward in her life, being an escort pays decently. And if this is what she's decided to do to work her way to financial stability, I respect the hustle. And again, I don't think there's any shame in escorting or even sex work altogether, so I'm not trying to be insulting to her here. I genuinely do hope she's taking care of herself. But to close the Ashley chapter, the two are not friends on Facebook. Russ does not post about her anymore. His Facebook profile says he's single, and he actually started up with the sad dating posts again. On September 25th, Russ made a post to his Facebook that said, "This picture is as new as it comes, taken the evening of the 24th of September 2025. I'm the real deal, for better or worse, lol. No catfish trolling with this rascal. So tired of all the fake accounts and filtered/old pics. Just be legitimate and show us all the real you. Don't people understand that the scam will eventually become undone when you meet these folks? I've never understood the logic with the whole deception deal. Can someone please explain why people do that?" Well, it seems like it's back to the drawing board for old Rusty Russ. Okay, so remember at the beginning of this video where I said I have some juicy stuff to share that no one else has shared yet? Well, here we are. Here's the deal. Russ is forcing everyone in his life, whether it be a friend or a romantic interest, to sign an NDA if they want to continue the relationship with him. How do I know this? Because one of the recipients of said NDA leaked it, and I have a copy of it. So I guess Russ doesn't have the best judgment when it comes to who he can trust in his life. Obviously, we're gonna read through this NDA because it's hilarious and ridiculous. My source also passed this NDA along to their personal attorney, and we're going to read through the attorney's response as well, because quite frankly, the response is glorious. So it's 8 pages long. I've redacted all of the personal information from the recipient to protect their identity, but also to protect them from feeling the wrath of Russ. But I also think this is very funny because now Russ is going to be scrambling, trying to figure out which one of his confidants, which is what it says in the NDA, betrayed him like this. Let's go through this thing. I'm not gonna read all of it, but I will be putting parts of it on the screen. You can pause to read them if you want. But I am going to read through the few parts that I think are worthy of our time and discussion. On page 1, Russ is described as a high-profile individual with a particular need for care and protection in relation to privacy of his personal life and relationships. Again, Russ trying to sound more important than he is. And you know what, Russ? If you want your personal life to remain private, maybe, I don't know, don't post everything that happens to you every single day of your life on social media. And if you're engaging in shit in your personal life that you think could be, problematic to some people, have you tried just not doing those things? This is no one else's responsibility except for Russ. But he's doing this NDA thing to be like, look, see, I'm trying really hard to protect myself and my own personal privacy, but everyone just wants to take me down. I'm such a victim. The next section says, the parties wish to engage in a relationship with the potential for interactions of a personal, intimate, emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, and or other nature from a casual to a serious degree. Who is out here trying to have a spiritual relationship with Russ? But yeah, it seems like he's been passing this NDA out to anyone at all who has had a personal interaction with him. Anyone he thinks shows any potential for a friendship or a romantic relationship, he's sending this thing to you. If you show potential to Russ and you want to engage in such potential, you're gonna have to sign this thing. So here's a list of the things that Russ is trying to keep confidential between him and his confidants. This includes not just written or recorded communication, but just having a one-on-one conversation with him. Anything regarding Russ's personal life, relationships, finances, physical health, mental health, family, childhood, activities, friends, associates, personal habits, locations, travel plans, assets, and liabilities are subject to confidentiality if you sign this document. This includes text message exchanges, emails, DMs, audio recordings and video recordings made of or by Russ, pictures taken of or by Russ, the mere existence of this document, the terms of this agreement, discussions and negotiations about this agreement, and personal, intimate, emotional, physical, mental, and or spiritual interactions between Russ and his confidant. What is it with this spiritual shit? What is an example of a spiritual experience that one can have with Russ McKamey? Or anyone for that matter, but especially Russ McKamey. How can you even enforce that? If the relationship between Russ and this person ends, Russ requires written notice of termination of the relationship. On page 4, it reiterates that this contract cannot be terminated orally. Can you imagine? How bizarre is this? No fights or arguments allowed here. You are stuck in this relationship with Russ until you put it in writing that you no longer wish to be associated with him. Russ also requires that the confidant return any confidential information back to Russ or provide proof of their destruction to Russ and his attorney. Like, if Russ writes you a love letter, you better burn that shit. And oh, by the way, after the relationship has been sufficiently terminated with Russ, you can't speak out against him for 20 freaking years. As if Russ is gonna be around for 20 more years to sue all of his old acquaintances. I mean, he might be, but he's 66 years old right now, and I wouldn't necessarily call Russ a beacon of good health. The NDA goes on to further say that you're not allowed to make any recordings of Russ without his written confirmation, which is a hilarious joke. There's cameras everywhere, Russ. You cannot enforce this in the surveillance state that we all currently live in. The confidant is not allowed to say mean things about Russ to any third party or on any social media platform or any internet site ever. It also says that if they sign this NDA, it also applies to anyone they're associated with as well, which seems unfair. You can't sign a contract on someone else's behalf that they don't even know exists. So for example, like you wouldn't be able to tell your best friend anything that Russ tells you or does to you or whatever. And even if you did, that best friend would not be allowed to then go repeat those things. Like that is bizarre and again seems entirely unenforceable. Even more bizarre though, however, is if you breach any part of this contract, you owe Russ $75,000 per instance. And if you go to court against him, you have to cover his attorney fees. The document says that this whole thing is supposedly enforceable by Tennessee law. Not everyone lives in Tennessee though, so I don't see how this would be enforceable at all. Like I mentioned earlier, my source did have their attorney look this whole thing over, and his response is pretty great, so I'll be reading it to you in full. Although I do have to redact some personal details that would give away the identity of the recipient of the NDA. Non-disclosure agreement between Russ McKamey and the confidant. It's way too early for this, and on a weekend, however, here's my analysis. This non-disclosure agreement looks like it was drafted by someone pretending to be an attorney, if I'm honest. How this ambulance chaser passed the bar is beyond me. This is textbook intimidation that is usually reserved for someone who's in the process of grooming a vulnerable person or a boy band. Haha. But I digress. Here is my professional response to this NDA. With respect to the proposed non-disclosure agreement you provided, after careful review, please be advised that the NDA, as drafted, contains provisions that are unconscionable, overbroad, and unenforceable under state law that would not withstand judicial scrutiny in this jurisdiction. 1. Choice of law and venue. While the NDA purports to apply Tennessee law and requires arbitration in Franklin, Tennessee, other state courts will not enforce such clauses where they violate their state's public policy or unreasonably disadvantage a resident party. In this case, requiring a different state resident to arbitrate in Tennessee under Tennessee law creates substantial unfairness. 2. Liquidated damages as unenforceable penalty. The NDA imposes $75,000 in damages per alleged breach, Section 14. Other state courts hold that liquidated damages must represent a reasonable forecast of actual damages at the time of contracting. Otherwise, they're deemed unenforceable penalties. A flat $75,000 assessment for any disclosure, regardless of scope or impact, is facially punitive and would not be upheld. 3. Overbreadth of confidentiality and duration. The confidentiality clause, Section 3, attempts to prohibit disclosure of virtually all aspects of personal, emotional, and spiritual interactions and extends for 20 years, Section 17. Other state law requires such covenants to be reasonable in scope and duration and narrowly tailored to protect legitimate interests. Courts here routinely strike down confidentiality provisions that are vague, overbroad, or unnecessarily long. 4. Non-disparagement and public policy. The non-disparagement provision, Section 5, is drafted so broadly that it would bar the confidant from making truthful statements to the public, press, or authorities. Their state law will not enforce contractual provisions that chill free speech or inhibit the reporting of unlawful conduct, as this contravenes strong public policy. 5. Arbitration limitations. Although arbitration clauses are generally respected, this other state's courts will not enforce them where they operate as a prospective waiver of statutory rights or prevent a party from asserting claims under their state law. To the extent this NDA attempts to foreclose their state's statutory remedies, it is unenforceable. Conclusion. For the reasons stated above, the NDA in its current form is unenforceable under their state's law. My advice is not to execute this agreement. Should Russ McKamey wish to pursue a revised NDA, it must 1. Remove the punitive liquidated damages clause, 2. Narrow the definition of confidential information, 3, reduce the confidentiality term to a commercially reasonable period, and 4, eliminate or substantially revise the non-disparagement clause. Long story short, it seems like this lawyer is suggesting that this contract is not legally binding because of its intimidating nature, its unreasonable requests for damages, its vague descriptions of basically everything, and it would pretty much be a violation of the recipient's First Amendment rights. Like, they wouldn't even be allowed to speak to the press or the authorities. Coming from this attorney's personal opinion, Russ would basically need to rewrite the entire thing if he wants to have an enforceable NDA. It's ridiculous in all ways conceivable, and it gave me a good laugh. I hope you're all laughing alongside me at this. So with all of this being said, what does the future hold for McKamey Manor? Well, it's hard to say right now. The Tennessee State Attorney General's investigation into McKamey Manor is still ongoing as far as I know, and as far as all my sources know as well. Russ's lawsuit with the Wolf, aka that Justin guy, I did talk about it in last year's update, so if you didn't watch that video, if you want more information about this lawsuit, it's in there, but that won't be settled until February of 2026. There's a court date scheduled for all of that. They're trying to take it out of the courtroom and just settle privately. So I wouldn't expect him to attempt to start the manor up again until at least then. But if he's smart, he'll wait until the Attorney General investigation is over. Russ isn't exactly smart, but he definitely thinks his followers are dumber than a sack of shit. Because on October 1st, Russ went live and tried to convince everyone that he had just done a manor tour the night before.
The Manor, I actually had a show last night. Didn't last very long. They quit really fast. But it was fun. Too short, but fun. Halloween time. That's why I had a show last night. I had a show at midnight last night. So October 1st, I had my first show in a while last night. Yes, I did. They didn't last very long. That was a bummer, too. I was hoping we would have got a lot more done, but they were all talk, man. They were all talk, telling me how they were going to do this and do that. And then when it got real, they chickened out. They used their safe word. It was all over. I even gave a chance to use another safe word. Nope, they wouldn't do it. I didn't post it last night. I didn't show it live last night. I went straight into the show. I didn't do any of the silly stuff last night. I went straight to the haunt, but I didn't go live last night. McKamey Manor will always be king. Always.
I'm sorry, but if this were true, we all know for a fact that Russ would not be doing this silently. At the very least, he would have posted a picture with the contestant. It's been 2 years since Ben and Danny had their tours, and those are the last ones that we know of happening. His official McKamey Manor Facebook group no longer exists, to my knowledge, and I don't think he's formed another secret one because someone would have leaked it by now. Russ also claims in his video that he didn't do all the silly stuff and went straight into the haunt, which we know doesn't actually exist. The entire McKamey Manor experience consists of crawling around in Russ's front yard, carrying a heavy bag of dog food while dressed in a onesie, and occasionally he'll waterboard you. But the version of McKamey Manor that Russ is always trying to push, you know, with the alligators and the underwater maze and the cages full of rats and the world's longest zip line and whatever else he claims, isn't real. We know it's not real. Quite frankly, you would have to be the most naive person on the planet to believe that any of that stuff exists in Russ's backyard. And Russ thinks that his remaining cult members are stupid enough to believe that that stuff all exists. He thinks you guys are stupid. Back in February, Russ went into an old McKamey Manor Facebook page that he runs called McKamey Manor Survival Challenge. It has 15,000 followers on it, and it hasn't been updated since May 2020. But Russ did pop back in to say, "Hey folks, I haven't been on this site in years, lol. So many crazy LIC comments, my brain will explode, lol. There's only one real Facebook page, and it's my blue checkmarked Russ McKamey page. Come on over for some reality." Basically just trying to funnel people over to his personal Facebook page, but I do wonder if he's holding on to that old page for whenever he does start up the manor tours again. I'm sure he'll figure out a way to get the manor back up and running eventually. If there's one thing that Russ is, he's persistent. He won't just let his glory days fall back like this. I honestly think Russ will be back someday. He just has some hoops to jump through first. As an honorable mention, Russ claims that he'll be putting out a 30-hour-long revenge documentary about Ben, Danny, Chris, and his ex-girlfriend Shay. If he thinks that people are gonna sit through a 30-hour-long Russ McKamey video, he is trippin'. But also, all of the exposés that he's done on Ben and Danny and other McKamey Manor quote-unquote haters so far have been just stupid. A big fat nothing burger that Russ thinks is doing something, but it definitely isn't. So on behalf of everyone involved, I think it's safe to say that we all look forward to the release of said project if he ever actually puts it out, which seems unlikely. But he claims he's going to expose all of his main haters and change the conversation about Russ forever. Yeah, right, Russ. Good luck with that. Also, Russ made a cameo, which is hilarious. He charges $15 for a video shout out, and he'll sing happy birthday off key to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. It's cracking already. To you. Happy birthday, Alondra. I'm sure I messed the name up. I'm horrible at names. Happy birthday to you. And you're my very first person on this cameo, so this is extra special for me.
His profile says that he completed his last cameo request on October 4th of this year, so if you're into that kind of thing, I guess, there you go. I wouldn't recommend giving Russ any money though, even if it is only $15. I personally considered buying one from Russ just for the lulz, but I didn't want to give him any money at all, so as funny as that would be, maybe don't do it. Recently, Russ found out that a daily calendar that you can buy at Barnes & Noble mentions the manor, and he whines about someone else making money off the manor. Dude, this calendar seems to be one that you change every 2 days, meaning that there's at least over 180 pages in this thing, and one of them mentions McKamey Manor. And suddenly, well, people are using me to make money. Dude, shut up. Also, shame on whoever made this calendar in the first place for not doing their research on this place. And that's all I have for you guys today, and for the past year of McKamey Manor. That's basically all you need to know. Before we end it here, I gotta thank some people. First of all, once again, thank you Hungry Root for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget, hungryroot.com. Use the code Savannah Marie and you'll get 40% off your first box plus a free item of your choice in every box for life. So yeah, definitely do that. You know I love Hungry Root. You'll love Hungry Root too. And now it's time to thank my patrons and my members, guys. The list of names I'm about to read off are my financial supporters. They get access to things like our private Discord server. We have a postcard club, early access to new videos whenever I'm able to provide that to you, and sometimes even more than that. So if any of it sounds good to you, you can go to patreon.com/SavannahMarie, or you can click the join button beneath this video to join my YouTube memberships. Just whatever platform you want to join on works for me if it works for you. So with that, the biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Hula Chowdown, Jacqueline Nutton, Leanne, Kessie Drew, KJ Barnes, Marie Silver, Maddie Darley, Ray, Daniel Urena, Caroline Reed, Bug, AJC, Charcity, RC's Jewelry Designed by Amber, Luciana Valiente, Emily Jean, Hannah Moe, Alex Gollum, Love to Be Evil, Liz Sahu, Evan Adler, LaSalle Story, Fluffy Duck Butt 24, Elaine, Ferd Turgeson Esquire, Just Mark, Baby Pink Pearl, Alice Wagner, Fallon Harris, Jessica Billhart, and Emion. And to the rest of my financial supporters, thank you so much for being here and being you, and even if you're not a financial supporter, thanks for making it to the end of this video because YouTube loves watch time. So yep, I just appreciate that you're here in general. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.